Bam! We're live.
If we would have started this 30 minutes ago, you would have heard a lot of yelling and.
Well, we were fussing with each other. All these guys were picking on me. They called me a sissy.
With John first.
How did we pick on him? He's picking on us.
Well, you deserve it.
Yeah, it started with John first.
John, we're all jealous of John. He's in the beautiful southern New Mexico mountains, fixing to start a 5-day lion hunt.
6 day, 5 days.
6 days.
6 day.
Probably whack a big old tom tomorrow, and he'll kick you out and say, "Go home."
Yep, go home.
Probably I'm say,
Next.
I'm not leaving. Till somebody else gets here. I'm here.
Hey, come over here. Come over here and get a bear.
Yeah.
So
I know where there's a big ugly one right now. Ugly. Oh goodness, he's ugly.
Everybody introduce themselves. For those that don't know, upper left-hand corner. Am I right? That's John.
I don't know. John, he's right above you.
John. Over on the far side is the famous George Lambert.
Took a little time out of his celebrity schedule to pop in on us.
Bear Hunter Deluxe. In great demand on podcasts, Hollywood.
We'll be begging to get on his
Hollywood. You got a movie deal?
In the lower middle is the famous Chris Watson, Arizona bear hunter.
Sure. Well,
What
Arizona
else?
Bear chaser.
Bear harasser.
Yep.
And then on our far right is the newly formed fabricator,
Yeah.
That's
Dog
right.
box.
Nicholas, Hound on the Run. If you want a dog box built, get a hold of Nick.
It only take him 3 months.
It'll take me 3 months.
It'll get done.
Yeah. It'll get done eventually.
Well,
I got to get the chat up.
Grind the rest.
I don't have the chat going. I don't have it at least where I can see it.
Oh,
I can see it, chat. There's been a couple people chat.
Oh, okay.
Comment.
It's just
Good evening, guys.
open forum tonight. So if you got questions, shoot them.
Ask them.
And there shouldn't
First
be.
time we've all been together for a while.
Yeah. Shouldn't be any advertisements on this. I turned off the monetization. So
I've got a question.
shoot.
I've got a question. Why did Nicholas not toughen his feet up in his newest video?
Was he always sitting in the driver's seat?
Watch him look at me.
Yeah, I was sitting on my rear end all day. Hey, in my defense, I have been toughening up my own, well, not my feet, but my legs. I actually got a gym membership, and I've been hitting that stair climber like nothing. So
Those things are good for hiking.
yeah.
I guarantee that.
I didn't.
Dude, I love it. I love it, man. 30 minutes on that thing, get your heart rate cranking. And yeah, it feels like you're hiking up a hill, sort of. Minus all the bushes.
Well,
I noticed a big difference using one of those, like if in the off season, and then going hiking. Big difference.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a ladder.
There
It's
you
like
go.
a ladder climber. Is that the one you're talking about? It just
Yeah,
moves
exactly.
and you climb
Yep.
up it. Oh, it's so great.
Yep. And every time, like, I'm just sitting there thinking that, hey, this is going to make it hurt a little bit less when I'm actually hustling to get to my dogs this winter. So now I'm basically a fitness influencer. Okay, guys?
There
So
you go.
if you want to get inspired,
Here
to
comes
get
the
in
next
shape,
video.
just give me a call. I'll get you tuned up.
it's going to have a new channel.
Build you a
It's gonna be
dog
called
box?
Houndsman on the Run.
Houndsman on the run. Well, I was thinking about getting my mule a membership to the gym, but
Do you have one of those carousel walker deals that I've seen
no.
before?
When I was a kid,
Man.
we always had them. We had, I mean, because of course I was raised on a quarter horse ranch, and Walkers. We call them walkers. Hot walkers.
Hmm.
But
A lot of guys
I
buy
know
those old
people-
ones up and use them for dogs now.
That's what I
Yeah,
was gonna say. I've
seen
seen
that.
people. I've seen people fabricate them up, rig them up to put their hounds on and walk them.
I
got a set of old train tracks I run my dogs on, full of cinders, so works
I just
for me.
Huh?
if I don't have time to
You what?
really get a mule saddled or anything, I just go out in the buggy and road. I got lots of land here, lots of
Road 'em.
open country. Yeah,
That's what I
take
do.
'em
I got
everywhere.
it's just an old railroad track, Nicholas. Old railroad track they took the tracks off of
Oh, that's
from
good.
hundreds of years ago.
Oh, I see what
And
you're
it's
saying. Gotcha.
yeah, it's full of cinders and stuff. So they it's 2 miles long. So I rode
Nice.
them up it and back it. Mhm.
That's nice.
Hey,
I
listen,
bet
And then I
those
go
big.
chase them,
I know we
antelope and rabbit.
My little sister says, "Is Jet
Joy.
Johnson still alive? Do you ride him anymore? He's still alive, but he's on retirement. So he doesn't. He still meets me at the gate every time I go out there to catch Agnes or Ruth. Jet meets me at the gate. He wants to go.
that's your
Will he
sister,
pack
Brett?
out light loads?
Yeah. My little sister.
Maybe you could get him some like VR goggles, make him think he's going hunting.
He's wearing a fly mask right now.
Have you guys ever had a dog you couldn't break from being gun shy? From Brandon. You shoot a gun around my dogs and they won't shut up. They start barking because they think the
Yes.
bear's coming out of a tree or
That's
a lion. Yeah.
what happens. We get some dove hunters that come up behind my house, and they'll shoot, and the dogs all go bananas.
Yep.
Mr. Lambert, good
There's
evening.
Big George.
Mr. George.
How do you break? Has anybody had a gun shy? I've never had a gun shy dog. I raised them myself out of my own line, so they're just around it.
Yeah.
I had
Do
a
you
I
guys
think-
do
I had a buddy
anything
that had one he
special
raised.
to?
I had a buddy had a jit that he raised. It was really gun shy. When you got to the tree, you had to put her on the lead. If something happened and you couldn't put her on the lead when you got to the bear and you shot, she was gone. But she eventually got to where they didn't even have to go hunt her, but have to go run her down. She would eventually come back to the tree. She figured out, but eventually that shot, pow, just she'd take and run.
Midnight
Yeah,
Blue knows how.
you know,
Blue knows how.
start them out when they're young with when you feed them making noises, and eventually increase the amount of noise, and they get used to. I never thought about with my hounds. I'm trying to think back with the Airedales when I had all them. I can't remember, but I know I've read about training a gun shy dog, but I can't remember why I was reading it or if I was just reading it out of curiosity. But I know, start out when they're excited about something, and make loud noises, and then just keep adding to it. What's John's thinking so funny?
No, I'm reading a
Is-
comment here. HMH_MN. I guess that's something New Mexico. Said he had a really shy mule once. Really shy. Had a gun shy mule once. It was a really long walk the day that he found out.
I bet.
Oh yeah.
I
The
just-
first shot
just
off
thought
a new
that was funny
horse or
'cause
mule. That's the
I
fun
could see a
one.
guy shoot. I could see a guy shooting game out of a tree and just an old bay mule or something barreling out of there. In
Just
my mind.
taking off.
Yeah.
Huh. I've never
I
really.
always shoot around my house anyways. Like if I'm trying a new load, I just shoot out in my yard.
Do you
Well,
reload?
anybody that's got elk in their backyard,
Yeah.
surely they're shooting some.
I do reload. I got my 45 long Colt lever action. I've been wanting to use I have to, but I have a 45 long Colt pistol I carry too. That's why I got the lever action, so I'd have the same round. So I had to load up, not too hot for my pistol, but I needed it hot enough for a bear out of my rifle.
Well, that's what I brought. I brought my 44 Henry, and I brought
cool.
a I bought a
Lever
44
action?
Red Hawk with me. Yeah,
Oh, I thought you had a pistol.
Cool.
I've got a pistol. I bought a Ruger Red Hawk with me too, or Black Hawk, excuse me.
If I could find that 4440 revolver pistol, then I'd get me a 4440 lever action. But it's hard to find them old pistols.
That's
That's a
a black
pistol.
powder. That's a black powder
Uh,
round, right?
No,
Originally?
4440. It's like a 4570, but just a little bit smaller.
That's what I want. I want to get a 4570 lever action for elk hunting.
I have a breech load. I screwed up in my life, and I had a 375 walnut lever action, and I traded it for a breech load 4570. I wanted one, and I regret it. I wish I would have kept that 375 lever action. Beautiful round. Beautiful round. I was dumb.
I want to see Nick. I want to see Nick, as thin as Nick is. I want to see video of his first time pulling the trigger on a 4570.
I've
'Cause
shot one before.
My dad. Oh, I was gonna say my
Yep.
dad's got one, and I've shot the first time I shot it. It's a handful.
Yeah, it hurts a little bit. Yeah.
Now, let me tell you what I do with my kids. I download them, and I let them shoot them. They're like, this ain't that bad. But hunting
Oh,
season
yeah.
comes around, I load them up. Because when you're shooting at something, you know what? This weekend, I have two old 410s. I gave them to my boys, and I said, you guys are squirrel hunting now, and they never shot them. Shotguns, I didn't even let them practice. And Trevor, he shot a squirrel. First shot, got the squirrel. Didn't even know it kicked because he's too busy getting the squirrel. Lyndon missed 4 times, and he felt it in his shoulder, and he was getting a little scared of it. He got real nervous of it. But Trevor, by the time the weekend was over, the last squirrel he got was running on the ground. I said, shoot it. And he has a bolt action. It's a bolt action, 410. And it has an adjustable choke on it. Real cool little gun. And
cool.
he whacked that. He threw it up. I don't even think he aimed. He just threw it up. Pow! Shot that squirrel and got it. So everybody's like, so he's Annie Oakley now. Like he's the top dog.
Legend.
Is that an older?
Yep.
Is that an older model 410, Chris? Like maybe
It's pretty
built in
old.
the
I
60s?
can't tell you what year it is, but it holds 3 if you have one in the chamber. So 2 you have to load it through the bolt, but it's cool because it has a little automatic choke on the end of it,
Dad bought one of those. Dad bought one of those the other day. I think it's a Chesterfield or something like that he bought. It was like a home and auto gun back in the day when home and auto sold guns.
It's an old gun. I need to run it. But my other boy, he had a pump. He has the pump. But I like that little bolt action a lot better. So
That little bolt action's cool. I know that because you just don't see.
I said, you guys could borrow these. By the end of the weekend, they're like, can we have these? I'm like, you're going to take them anyways. I don't think you guys even ask. So it's on their gun rack now in their room. So I lost my 410. But I said, you get one shot. Them 410s are expensive now. The rounds. Oh, they used to be like $5 a box, $8. You were like, dang, now they're like $20-$30 a box, I think.
Yeah. I'll say the last box I bought, I think, was $19.95 or something.
Yeah.
They're actually in the floorboard of my truck right now.
Yeah.
I have 2 boxes laying around.
Yeah.
How much were they? The 410s?
These was number 6's 3-inch with 3-inch magnums, and I think they was $26 a box, I believe.
I should have went and bought some crappy bird shot, but I have the 6 high base, so it has a little bit bigger kick. I should have let them shoot that low base little stuff. I don't even know if they make the low base. Do they make a low base for that 410?
I'm not sure.
I think so. I think they make a load. It's not. I think the high brass is called a
high base.
It's called we call it high brass.
Oh.
It's called Remington used to call it Long Range Express or something. That's what they called the high brass. What about? I mean, have you ever looked at buying TSS for turkey hunting for 410? Now that stuff is ridiculous for 410.
What is that?
TSS is tungsten shot.
Yeah.
Tungsten steel.
There's Missy.
I think I paid
It'll knock it.
There's
for a
Missy.
box of 5.
How much per box of 5? You broke up on my end.
$60, I believe.
I go say, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Duck still shots out of control too. Well, hell, bird shot. Right. I used to buy a case for $20, 100 rounds. It's like
Yeah.
38, 20 or 30 something bucks now.
I'll be right back, guys.
Well, listen, I'm gonna get off there, guys, because I've got to fix their supper tonight. So
Sound
I'll
good.
do that.
Have fun. Good luck.
All right, thank y'all. See y'all. Y'all
All
be
right.
hearing from me. Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Guess it's just the bear hunters now.
It's
Lion
just
hunters.
us.
It's just the bear hunters now. Well, we always last longer than lion hunters. So it's been. So I tell you that story from this weekend. My dad loses his dogs. We go back to camp, and he goes, "Man, I gotta go find dogs. My collars, they dropped them. They're dead. I don't know." But they've been out there for a couple hours,
Right.
and so he goes back out, and I get a text that just says 500 yards on this road. I'm all, so like, what are you telling me? And he's never caught a bear by himself with these dogs. He's always down lion hunting, and he hasn't ran them a lot this year. It's been a busy year, so he's only ran them a few times. And he thought they ran off on elk. He's all he's seen was elk tracks. So he goes. I get that text, and then 20 minutes later, because we're in bad service, I get a text of a bear. I thought he's just messing with me a little bit. I call him, and I'm like, yeah, hey, you got a bear? I don't hear the dogs because they're like, I go, you tree it? And he goes, yeah. I said, where's your dogs? He goes, they they came to me like they're just standing here. And then on the phone, he goes, there's 2 bears in the tree. And it was 2 boars in the same tree. I think that older boar was maybe trying to eat that other boar. It was a 150 pounder, and the other one was probably 200 pounder. And I think them
Right.
dogs came in chasing one, and maybe they were feeding in this area because we found a little honey hole and bear crap everywhere, And I found acorns or mast, whatever you call it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
so, and then as I'm on the phone, he goes, he's coming down. He's coming down. He only had 2 dogs. So he had 2 dogs with 2 bears treed in one tree. And he came down. The one came down, and he knew that was a boar, and it ran off. And his dogs took off after it. So he stayed on that tree, and he goes, I can't tell what this one is. So I loaded my dogs, went over there, let go. And my dogs I had another guy with me whose dogs aren't exactly the best either. Like, they haven't been on bear. Like, he's a new guy. He's just getting into it. And his crappy trash dog just blows up, takes off. We're like, They do this big circle, and my old 9-year-old stays by me like, I'm just going to stay right here. So they do this big circle and end up half a mile away, and they tree. So I don't know if they grabbed the scent, because I had my yucky dog with them. So there was dogs there that hunted. So they end up at a tree 800 yards away. So, and then my dad's radio dies. So I'm like yelling, hey. And finally I hear him, whoop, and we go over there. And I had my 2 5-year-old daughters with me, my 2 9-year-olds, the people who were hunting with me, and they have a little baby. It's like a year old they had to carry in. So it was kind of bad terrain. So we get in there, and he goes, I don't know what this one is. I think the other one's bigger, though. And it was a boar. And first I thought, man, it's a boar. It's a sow with a cub. He goes, no, that's a boar. The one that ran off was the boar. And
Right.
as soon as I walk up, the bear moves, and I see him shake a little, and I see his wiener like under his belly. I'm like, that's a boar, man, And so my brother, when Dirty gets in there, he's like, hey, there's a bear in the tree. So he starts treeing. So that bear don't want to go nowhere. So I end up getting this bear. So he gets this bear, and I leave my 2 boys, my 9-year-olds with him. I'm like, hey, they'll help you skin out whatever you need to do, drag it in. And we go over. I have to go back to the truck, which is 500 yards, drive. It's either I walk straight over 800 yards or go around. Well, I went around and got 300 yards from him off a road. And it's flat country. It's not bad. Walk in. Well, there's a girl, my dad, she had already left. My brother's mom already left to go back to Phoenix. He gives her a call and says, we got a bear. So she comes back, and her radio works. and I'm all hit this road and listen for the dogs and walk in. I said, there's probably going to be a dog fight. And she does. She walks in and she gets to the tree. So she's at her tree by herself and leaves her pistol in the truck. So all she had was her pocket pistol with a little 22 Magnum. So,
No.
yeah. So I get 300 yards and she's like, hey, there's a fight. And Yucky, it was Yucky and his sister, which ain't my dog no more. But this other dog's kind of starting a little bit of trouble. So she's like, so I shock him, you know. And she goes, all right, that worked. So every time they start growling or anything, she's like, hey, they're about to. I buzz him again. You could hear him. And he just go back to treeing, you know. You can't shock him off of nothing. I could hold that button down. And so we get in there, and it's that, I sent a picture of that ugly bear. Looks like it has a beard. Looks like an Irish beard, an Amish Irish beard on an ugly old bear. And he was up there growling, just growling. I've never had a bear growl. Every time he'd growl, I'd look around at the dogs like, who is growling? And it was that bear. But we ended up letting him go. Yeah. The girl had and I know she's listening to this right now. She listens to it all the time. I said, where's your rifle? Well, Rodney only had a 9mm. I'm like, yeah, but you have a tag, right? Yeah. I said, why wouldn't you bring a rifle in or something to shoot a bear? I don't know. And I'm always mean to people and I yell at them all the time. So that was our bear hunting story. You know, my dad thought he had trashy dog. I said, it's always great when your trash dogs tree something. Because then you know they know better. They know what they're doing. You know, so and once you get them treeing like that, they'll know for next time and hopefully leave the trash alone. So that was my story for the weekend. Yeah.
Sounds
2
exciting.
bears, 1 tree, 2 boars. That's what was crazy. So I don't know if they were just feeding in there together. Maybe one ran by the other one being chased. And the other bear's like, holy heck, what's going on? Ran up a tree. And the other one ran up the tree with him. But my dad did not see him. It was one blob up there. So one was on this side. He walked in, seen it. And the other one was on the other side. So he goes, looked like a 8-foot bear up there. You know, the one had his head turned. And then all of a sudden he seen the other one turn his head, I guess, around the other side of the tree. And he's like, whoa, there's 2 bears up there. And they're both the same color. Like a nice little chocolate bear. But yeah, that's our story. So, good times.
Sounds like you had an exciting bear hunting story today, George.
Wow, he's all. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It started out kind of normal. Just I ended up striking one off the truck, and they trailed him, got him jumped, and brought him up across the road. I packed a few more dogs on him, and then they caught him, and he decided he didn't want to shoot. A little western for a little.
Is he a little bear or big bear?
It was, I would call him he was in between 100 and 150. You know,
mean
probably
little
something.
Sucker, though, huh?
I don't know if it was necessary. He just did not want to climb. Yeah.
Oh,
and
shoot.
I mean,
usually those small bears will climb, right? Usually those small bears will climb.
Usually, for some reason, he just did not. He did not want to climb. And
he didn't really want to fight the dogs. He just didn't want to tree.
Oh well, he was defending himself.
Yeah, them little bears, they either climb a tree or they run 300 miles an hour. Oh, I hate runners. And them dogs will cover great distance in a blink of an eye.
It's unbelievable. It's crazy. Yeah. But yeah, they caught this one. The terrain was, I mean, extreme steep, like a lot of cliff country and stuff. And I don't know, for some reason he just decided to climb. I don't know, he probably climbed a quarter to a half a mile just up through all that stuff. And dogs just walked with him. They walked right up, right to my truck. I got some pretty cool video. I mean, most of the episode, you know, I probably it'll never make it to YouTube, but it was interesting stuff.
Yeah.
How come it's not suitable?
Yeah, it's just there's nothing crazy bad or anything. I just don't feel comfortable
You
Oh,
have to
I
put no
understand.
animals were harmed in the making of this video type of stuff.
Yeah, right,
Because some of it looks bad. When some of it looks really bad, but it's not bad at all.
right, right.
I don't know. I was bragging to my wife. She was with me this weekend. I said, and I had two dogs out, and we were chasing something, and I only had two. I said, watch how fast Yucky is. And they were like 500 yards out. I let Yucky out. I swear, every update, 5 seconds, he's another 100 yards. He's fast. I said, look at this.
Right.
He's just fast. Just pop, pop, pop. And like, he's almost there. And he gets, the dogs are here. Here comes Yucky. And he just, instead of going right, he just kind of goes off behind him and like starts backtrailing. I'm like, you can hear him barking. Sometimes he's a dummy, but he's fast, real fast. I just wish he would pay attention. Should have named him Lenny off of Mice and Men.
You got some video coming out of your bear hunts, Chris?
Well, that was this weekend. I still haven't. I got 6 hours of video to comb through. I'd probably make 2 videos out of it. I was out. Me and my son left Thursday of the week before. We didn't get back till Tuesday, and then I went back out. I said, well, I'm just going to let my dogs rest. And then I went back out Friday. So we ran again all weekend.
You were bear hunting the whole time?
Yeah. Well, no. Caught a lion track. And remember I was talking crap about that guy who gave me a dog, and people give away dogs. And, and I took the dog to either say he was a big dumb liar or, see if it worked. Because some dogs work different for other people. I've seen it 100 times. And she's kind of been making me a little angry, and I'm like, man, this dog found a lion track. Dirty actually rigged it, so I let him down. It was just a little partial track. I'm like, man, they just rained low, so it's like 20. So he started working it into the needles and pine needles, and he went up and he came back. Well, I said, well, I'm gonna try her out, and I said, hey, find that track. And I was telling her, find that track. I brought her to the track, find it. And she works. I mean, she'll rub her nose raw working a track. And I got her to strike it a little, and she started taking the track, and they went up. Well, they kind of lost it, came back. And I told her, find it again. She found it. Dirty come in. He opened, they opened. They were working this track. It was beautiful. Yucky was this is Yucky again. He's my love-hate dog. He's on the rig, and he's mad. I'm telling him, shut up. I throw pine cones at him, I'm like, hey, chill out. And they're out there 800-900 yards. And he breaks his rig. He breaks his chain, and I did not see him break it and jump off my truck and go. I turned around. I'm all, where's Yucky? Like I'm like, is he laying down? Nope. And he went out there 300 miles an hour, yelling like a banshee. And I seen him on the GPS pass those dogs and just bark. So it drug them dogs right with him. And
Oh yeah.
That would
young dogs
crazy.
Young dogs.
Do you have much trouble if after you're done running bears, getting those dogs to change over to the slow pace of a lion track?
Not Dirty. Dirty just always stays slow. Even on a bear, he will try to work this bear. He's not a good bear dog.
Yeah.
He's good on hot, and he'll go, but he'll work that track and he gets into those feed areas where there's a bunch of oaks. Those bears, they just do this in those feed areas. So he'll try to find, and Yucky's doing the same thing. I have to go out and see what he's doing. And I did. I went out, I walked out there and watched him, and he's trying to find out where that track's coming out.
Has Dirty been on a lot of caught game? I mean,
he's
been on plenty where he knows there's something at the end of that track?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
So
I've just heard, when I ran bears, I didn't really think of it much. I mean, but I hear so many guys talk about, lion hunters talking about, they have a hard time slowing those dogs down. And I remember going out, and I had that dog I called Super Hoover, and I caught bears when I had him. He was a good bear dog, and I had some others that helped quite a bit. But I remember riding up the canyon. Matter of fact, I got it on film from like 2011, and they hit a track of something, and then they all just wah 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 wah, and I think that was a lot from running bears. I mean, it was not. They didn't know what they had it, but they always thought the dog that was barking in front of them had it too. And
That's a big problem right there.
yeah,
That's why I didn't want Yucky down.
yeah,
'Cause I didn't. He was already mad he didn't get to go, so he's up there just hollering, and he just broke. He just broke the chain and
yeah.
drug him out of there because he comes flying. I seen him. I love GPS. I don't ever look at my GPS really. When you have them long enough, I just commented on a guy who said, "Quit looking at your GPS and listen to your dogs." Half the time, people are like, "Where are your dogs?" I'm like, "Ah, they're over here somewhere." Sounds like they're like, "Don't you got a GPS?" I'm like, "Oh, you're right, I do." And I'll look at it, but
I call it
you've been
cheating.
around dogs long enough, you know where they are and you know what they're doing by listening to them.
And if you ever some of my videos, you'll see me. I'll say, I'm gonna have to cheat. I'm gonna have to cheat,
Yeah.
and I pull out my Garmin so I can see. I try, try your best to stay, close to them or whatever. But sometimes you get, bluffed up, or you get in a place where you have to go
Hmm.
around, and you want to just be able to pick the best way to get back to them, and
Yeah.
so I'll cheat. But I still say a good day is when I go all day and we're trailing and and everything, and we're working tracks and going through the country, and I never have to look at that Garmin.
Yeah.
I've noticed with my really good hounds, or I say really good, the ones that I depend on a lot, they they do whatever they need to do to catch a bear. As far as either they will slow down or they'll pick up their head and move when they need to.
But
And then also I've noticed they won't. You can have a puppy blow through there, and they don't care.
they don't pay any
They
attention
don't
to him. They don't.
they
They
don't
don't
pay no.
honor him.
But I have noticed that a couple of my older ones now, if they'll honor each other. They know when one of them is serious. When he barks
Hmm.
and he's acting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Well, it's like a
it
rig,
right,
you know.
right.
Yeah.
They know. They know when they're rigging something good because
Oh yeah.
if you get, I call it an earthquake rig. When one dog barked and everybody's like, "Oh, he's right," and it just blows up. Or if it's just a dumb rig, everybody's
Yeah.
like, "Rough, rough." Wait a minute, should we be barking? Yeah. If you know your dog, you got to pay attention to your dogs, though.
I, I'm going to be real anxious for when you talk to John George about what he sees out here while he's cold trailing and hunting lions. I think it'll be
Right,
real eye opening to him. I really don't think a lot of people understand just how slow and
right.
tough it can be. I mean, and I always thought I had a lot of patience until I hunted with Mike Root, and I sat there with him, and I even told him, I said, Mike, don't you think that lion went through that saddle over there? He said, no, let's just sit here and watch. Let's watch. Let's watch.
Didn't he
And
just kind of make a cup of coffee kind of guy?
yeah,
And
I've heard hunters that
mhm,
were
he
with
had a
him
story, right?
that would
Hmm.
say, hey, you know what? Mike would tell him, let's build a little fire here and make us a cup of coffee. The guy said, well, the dogs are trailing a lion, but he just something to do to keep from interfering with them, just letting them work, you know.
Walking up on a dog will interfere, even on a bear treat, even
Well,
on a bear. You walk up, and sometimes they'll all like, "Oh, look, he's here," and they'll run away from it, kind of
Yeah.
greet you, and that bear's like, "Here's my chance." Bam, gone.
I, you know, and I've heard a lot about that, but I know that I've done it enough that my dogs, when they see me climb off my mule and I start walking around, they start looking harder because they know I'm looking for something
Hmm.
and trying to figure out. I mean, this whole desert out here has been a big education for me, because you might be able to trail a lion track down that arroyo for, a couple 100 yards, and then all of a sudden, well, what happened? And then you got to start working and trying to figure out, trying to find that track, trying to move those dogs around, trying to skip and figure out, and then finally you pick it up again. And I was talking to a real good lion hunter just a couple days ago, and he was hunting up there just probably, I'm going to say probably 85, 90 miles north of where I've been hunting. And he said, man, he said, I'm moving to a cooler place. I said, why? I asked him, I said, why is that? He said, well, we can trail a line until 10:30, 11 o'clock. Then it gets too hot. You can't trail anymore. So you're done. And you never catch up to the lion. You never, unless he's right there. And that's, this last video I put out, those 2 days, I still don't think I was very far behind that lion, but every day I ran out of coolness. I called it. It just get too hot, and those dogs would still try, but they can't make much progress. But it was fun. I mean, I enjoy the heck out of it. I love the challenge of trying to, and I've caught some lions in this desert, but I've never trailed one all day long and caught him in the afternoon. Never. And to me, that's the holy grail right there.
Yeah,
well, that's where your houndsman. That's where your lion, not your houndsman. That's where your lion hunter comes in. Like, I always go back to that story with Dale where he says you're not a lion hunter because he knows where that lion's going to go anyway. So he can stop in the middle of the day, come back the next day, and know exactly where to start again, even if it's a mile away.
Yeah, he knows where to go. He knows the country. He knows where they're traveling, and that's always been my weakness. I think I've tried. Sometimes I'll convince myself I know what I'm talking about, but I don't.
And then you get lucky. You're like, "Yep, I'm Ben Lilly. I'm Dale.
Look at me. Yeah. Move over, Dale. There's a new guy taking over the top spot here.
We'd all love to be like that, but got to pay your bills too.
Well, yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
Who
There's
get
guys.
Out there
I know some guys that are. A matter of fact, I don't want to say his name. I don't want to puff him up too high, but I think that guy that John is hunting with is probably as good as anybody around.
That's for as young as he is too. He's a young guy. He ain't old guy.
He works hard. I mean, he works really hard.
That's all he's been doing too.
That's it. That's all.
That's all he does.
Yep. He started hunting with me a long time ago, and but he went on. I mean, I kept making the same circles and making the same mistakes, and he went on and started hunting with some really good lion hunters and learned a lot. And he works at it. He stays out there all the time, so makes a difference.
And yes, I did hunt all week. Jay Fay. Someone asked if I hunted all week. I didn't. I came back in Tuesday, went back out Friday. So I hunted last weekend. Came in, rested for 2 days, and then went back out this weekend. Came in, and I'll probably go back out tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. I don't know. I got a deer hunt next Friday, so down in Globe. I'll probably take my dogs there too and try to catch the lion while I'm there. I'd rather catch a lion than a deer.
Nice.
But if I see a deer,
my grandson drew 16B rifle elk, and that's like a super draw.
Bull elk, right?
Bull elk. Yeah, real good place in the wilderness. Of course, I got mules and I pack and everything. But I don't know. I got my procedure on Friday. His hunt starts Saturday. So I got to see what the doctor says. And it lasts until that Thursday. So, and then he's got a deer hunt. No, it's Unit 21, I think. Starts, I think, a week from, no, it starts that Saturday again. So hopefully those doctors do a good job on me and I can get him back in the deer hunt's not as bad. I got some places we can go that, I don't have to get, you don't have to go in on a mule too far. But that elk hunt, especially after, all the bow hunters and everybody's been in there, those elk are going to be pushed way back in there. But
that's where the big ones hide, is way back in there,
it.
in little bowls.
Yep. But got to get my heart fixed.
My little boy just killed his first deer. We had
really?
a youth, I think, a 2-day youth season. Yeah.
Cool.
How old is he?
He is 7. I had to think about that.
So how old do you have to be to? You have to take a hunter safety course. How old do you have to be to do big game, Virginia?
It's I think it's basically up to the here in Virginia. I mean, long as he can safely handle a firearm on his own, then he's qualified to. He's got to be hunting with a what they consider adult or overseer or what. But yeah, so he can. What is it?
I wish they did that here.
Oh, really? Okay.
You have to be 10.
Like I say, as long as he's with me or something. But because Easton, he killed a bear when he was 5, and then he was a little.
That's
booger.
Cool.
Well, my boys are chomping at the bit right now because they're 9, so next year they can hunt. You have to have a hunter safety, whatever course. So and you're not allowed to hunt big game till you're 10, which is to me it's kind of stupid, but I think it should be up to the parent. Period, but
with Easton, I had no plan. I wasn't. I kind of went through that mindset. I wasn't gonna get him on a bear until he was, until he fully appreciated what he was doing, and But he's, even at 5 years old, he had been to so many bear trees and stuff. He knew fully aware. Yeah. He was fully aware of what was going on, and he really appreciated the bear, but. He's done so many bear, and he's been around the bear hunting so much that actually the deer got him way tore more up than with the bear. Kind of the, what do you call it, the T or whatever is done, kind of wore off because he's been to so many. But it was a neat experience for me, seeing him with that deer, because that's something that we don't do all the time. So he was all shaky, and it was a neat experience.
George, I got to tell you, I got a guy who watches my videos on YouTube, and he watches your YouTube videos. He watches it on a TV, so he can't comment or anything. But he's always he's really fond of you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He tells me every time I talk to him, he says, "Man," he said, "now that George is a hunter." He said, "He's a hunter." His name's Mr. Jarman, real fine man. And he was a great houndsman in the past too. Still, I imagine if he had a hound, but he's neat to talk to.
I'm my best. I seen somehow I heard. I don't know, whatever the case, but one day I got his phone number. I'm gonna call him and just talk to him.
I wish you would. I wish you would.
That. Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
And Nicholas, you're down there in that bottom corner, being quiet. What's up?
He has a dog box now.
He's cocky. Look at that stuff he's got on his face.
Yeah. He's got a little Fu Manchu going.
And look he's got fans standing outside trying to get his attention.
Yeah. Looking at his dog box on his truck.
Vincent, now George is gone. Or he fall out of his chair. You okay, George? George.
Had to tie his shoe.
That. Come back to us, George.
Yeah, do you guys want to see pictures of my dog box finished?
Yes, we do.
Okay, I think I can. Here, let's see if this works.
This is why.
Oh wow!
There you go. Hey, look
I
at
guess
that
you can't see my
pointer.
mouse,
Look at that
but
pointer he got with
Yeah,
him too.
there's a bird. There's a pheasant right there by that tire.
he's just posing. No, it's an action shot. But yeah, so yeah, finally finished my dog box. Took me forever, but I think it turned out pretty cool.
Looks good.
Real good.
How do I switch?
That's a nice
to
little
the next
rig there. Toolbox and what?
Thank you.
Dog box.
Now
Little.
you can't get out of it.
Is that a
There you
taco?
go.
No, it's a
No, it's a
Nissan
knee.
hardbody,
Oh, okay.
1994.
Okay.
So I basically, yeah, it's a on the rail. So the whole, I'm just using the truck bed as the box
Sure.
part.
That's the way mine
I
is.
built it out of steel, and I'm probably most excited about the side doors where the dog's heads poke out. I put gas struts so they pop up and stay open like that.
Oh.
So hoping that that'll keep the rain out of the box, when we're cruising around.
Rain. What's that?
Yeah,
Man, we got a lot.
that's
up
why
in
the
here.
dog box took 4 months. Kept raining on him.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
That's
It's
nice.
the rear view. Thank you.
Not bad for
Yeah,
a
it turned out
rookie.
pretty great.
Yeah.
And nice big platform on top. Get all my dogs up there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But yeah, I learned a lot about fabricating. And yeah, I'm pretty stoked about welding now. I have a bunch of other projects I want to start doing.
Next one will be easier.
Bumpers. You can put
Yes.
some bumpers on his truck now.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna keep weighing it down. That's the thing. This thing turned out to be about 200 pounds, so it's a fair bit heavier than my old box. And I took it out on I went out on Saturday, and didn't do much hunting because there was it's a rifle deer season going on right now, so there was just tons of rifle hunters everywhere. They were not happy to see me out there. And lots of people camped everywhere. It'd be one thing if it was just hunters out there, but I kept running into all these camps, and
You
I
need
just
to
would
move.
hate for my dogs to. I would hate for my dogs to go, bailing through people's camps and causing a ruckus, and who knows what would happen. So
I had a dog.
didn't get to run much.
I was hunting on a mountain, and I had a dog go down and get in someone's ice chest and eat all their lunch meat. I felt bad.
exactly.
I showed up, and he's like, "Well, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, it's public land." I said, "Here." I gave him a bunch of my lunch meat. I had some meat, and I said, "Here, take this. Want some peanut butter and jelly too?" So I swapped him some lunch meat, and he was happy. But
So
hey,
what-
My dog Cooley, one day she came out of the woods with like a full unwrapped summer sausage, like just one you'd buy at the grocery store, just in her mouth. I'm like, where did you get that? She's comes up onto the road, sits down, and starts tearing it open to have a snack.
There you go.
Pretty
That's
funny.
a good dog. Tell us.
Hopefully, it wasn't a dead body.
Tell us about your dogs, Nicholas. What kind of dogs are you running for Bobcat where you're at?
So I guess I can pull these pictures back up. So I got a hot mess on my hands, but that dog that's doing the pointer pose, he's basically my main dog right now. He's a West Coast cat dog, treeing walker, running walker blend.
Yeah.
He comes out of my mentor's dogs, who kind of come from, pretty well established lines out here in the Pacific Northwest.
Mm-hmm.
And he is 3.5 years old. He started striking from the rig last season, so pretty excited about him. That blue dog that's up on the tailgate.
Yeah.
That's one of my 1.5-year-old blue pups, I call him, and he is the son of this dog, Cooley. So Cooley's half treeing walker, half black and tan. And the litter she had would be half blue tick, quarter walker, quarter black and tan. Um,
Any
and
specific lines from those breeds or whatever?
the blue tick side, their dad actually was originally owned by Jason Doobie,
Well, okay.
and is you know what I can show you a picture of their grandpa in Full Cry magazine, the
Huh?
first issue that came out.
Oh, bragger.
Yeah,
There you
that
go.
that's their grandpa.
That's a nice looking
Um,
hound.
that is Plum Tree in Private Reserve, aka Henry.
Registered blue
Yeah.
tick.
Yep. So I ended up with one of his sons, Plum, named after Plum Tree and Kennels.
Mhm.
And yeah, Plum, he kind of he got moved around a lot or something when he was young, and just kind of he's got some problems. Like his main problem is he will not leave my side. He just won't go hunting anymore. Um, yeah. So Midnight Blue there, he has dogs that are somewhat related, but yeah, they're Cameron and Hammer on the blue side. Um, and but yeah, so it was a straight up accidental breeding between Plum and Cooley. And I had always wanted to have puppies. Like, I always wanted to raise puppies from birth like that. And I'm just kind of like I'm a YOLO kind of guy. Like, you only live once, right? So I just went full send with the puppies and kept
Sure.
3 of them.
What are they? How far along are they, and what are they doing for you now?
So last year I focused on getting them on a lot of raccoons. I probably got them on, I don't know, probably 20 raccoon trees, and shot a bunch out to them.
Oh, cool.
And then I also, thanks to my mentor, he wants to remain 100% anonymous on the internet, so I can't talk much about who he is. I wish I could. It'd be my best content if he would come on my podcast and let me make videos about him. Oh man, it would kill. But yeah, he wants to stay private, so gotta respect that.
Sure.
But I go hunting with him, and he was just very graciously let me get my dogs in on races with his pack. And like if he had one treed, he'd let me, we let it come down off. He'd pull his dogs off, let the cat
Are you
come
talking
down,
about
give it an
bobcats
hour
now?
or so. And bobcats, yeah. And let us run it from there. So yeah, I think they were on, like, I don't know, maybe five bobcat trees last year. So
So you got high expectations for this year?
no, I have low expectations, and that way I'll always be pleasantly surprised. No, I'm excited. Yeah, the main thing I'm working
You're
with
excited then.
Oh, I'm super excited.
Okay. That's the same thing.
To me, like, I would be happy. I'm happy just going, like, if all I did was rode the dogs and they never left the road. It's kind of sad to say, but like that works for me,
Well,
so anything beyond that is like icing on the cake. And yeah, I had a lot of good, I don't know, catching bobcats is really difficult.
Sure.
And but I'm gonna capitalize on the snow this year. I'm gonna try, as much as I don't like doing it. I'm gonna try harder to get into more places with good snow conditions, and just get them on a lot of tracks. So
I mean,
it's good. Snow's good for pups. Absolutely
Yeah.
good to get them on game, and it's easy.
Yep.
I've done it. We was out, not even line hunting, found a line track in the snow, and walked pups into it, and there you go. They're under a lion.
Yep.
Or a bobcat or whatever.
I like to get my dogs on tracks, and the young dogs on tracks with the older dogs. And I mean, to me, I'm just as happy about that as anything. Don't get me wrong. I like the thought that if it's a good track and we can get close enough to it, then we can get him jumped. If we do get him jumped, I want him to catch him. But I mean, trailing out here where I'm at is pretty I mean, if you can trail, then you're doing something. There's lots of.
Blackbeard's trying to bust you out right there. Blackbeard's trying to find out who your mentor is, I think.
Well,
It's not Mike Kemp. I don't know. I know who
You know
Mike Kemp is.
You know John
I
Smith?
don't know where
You
he
know-
lives though.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't
Yes,
know where
the
he lives. I
blindfold
don't. Is he in Oregon? I'm not sure.
Rowdy, we
No.
have planned on doing that for a couple of years now. We just haven't been able to get together.
no. Brett's whiny about his heart, and I'm lazy.
They're fixing it.
Like we live, we can meet right in the middle in a beautiful area too.
Yep.
Like it's the best area to hunt in, and it's right on the line.
Well, what are you
So-
waiting for? My
Wait for
heart.
your
Be
procedure.
right back.
Wait,
Man, I'm
wait for your procedure.
gonna be a brand new man.
I know, bionic man. Bionic man.
But no, they're. I mean, it's an in and out procedure. So, tech tip. I got this tech tip. I seen this sitting
Here
in
we go.
there.
I
And I
seen you
want-
playing with that. I'm trying to
Yeah.
figure out what it was.
This is the coolest thing that Floyd Green. Do you know Floyd? Lion hunter,
Yeah.
Arizona.
Yeah, he
Good.
lives there. Yeah, everybody knows Floyd.
Been on the Steve
Well, he's
Ranella,
on. Yeah, meat eater.
meat eater, everything.
You
Big
either
dog.
love or hate Floyd. You either love or hate Floyd.
I don't know. I love him
Mhm.
because he sent me. Now he sent me the DeWalt model. He didn't send me the
Oh, you
Milwaukee.
were talking about this. Yes.
But I traded. I sent in and got the Milwaukee. But that you put your cordless batteries from your
Yeah.
cordless tools in this deal, and it's got
Oh, yeah.
USB and everything on
Mhm.
there, and you can charge your collars and everything. He sent me everything to do it. He sent me this. He sent me the little USB strip that has like 8 or 9 USB. But he sent me the DeWalt one. I got to be correct. But I traded for this Milwaukee one because I have Milwaukee cordless tools, and then the strip and everything, and then you can plug in in that big battery. I think he said he gets like 5 or 6 charges out of 10 collars.
Any idea what the capacity of your batteries is?
Well, you got different
does it
size
say on
batteries.
What does it say on that one? It should show the.
This is not a battery. This is just the
Oh,
adapter.
that's the plug-in. Oh, I got
You
you.
just slide the battery in that, and then it's got the USB.
Heck, man, they got such big batteries
Super
now.
cool.
I got the
Oh,
one
man.
for the well, I use it daily, and it
Do you?
lasts forever.
Those
Yeah,
batteries or something.
Yeah, I've got a couple of the of course the little, what are they called? Two amp, no, I don't know if they call it amp, two AH, whatever it is. The
Amp
smaller
hour.
battery won't last real long, but them big ones like the 9 and the 10, they last forever.
It's even got a
I mean, they're-
light, a flashlight on
You
it.
guys are all like
Nice.
high class,
Yeah.
like uppity. I'm like Ryobi. I have Ryobis from 2001
Ryobi
that
stuff.
still work.
You
So
can
I've always been a Ryobi, and I was told this that there's only actually 3 electric motor manufacturers, and half of your like Milwaukee, I think like DeWalt and Ryobi are the same motors.
Oh, that was a Ryobi salesman telling you that.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Hey,
I have a
I'll tell
Ryobi
you what, I'll
electric
tell you what.
chainsaw, and that thing
You
is
s-
sweet.
You set your Milwaukee on a job site next to my Ryobi, and they'll steal your red before they'll steal
Yeah.
my green. I guarantee it. And I'll still have mine. I've seen it. They steal DeWalt's like crazy.
You can tell a lot about a man by the kind of tools he uses. So
I'll
I'll
put my
just
Milwaukee.
rest that. Well,
I'll
know.
put my Ryobi against anybody's tools.
that's not the point.
Hey, the
Oh, yeah,
handiest tool for in the woods is I got a big DeWalt chainsaw, battery operated.
How does
I've
that work?
seen
Good.
Those are supposed
Oh,
to
it-
be good.
I
It's
got the
sweet.
Ryobi version of that. I think it
Okay.
kicks ass, man.
Sorry, you're just
Does it?
trash. You stay down there in the
I know.
corner, Nicholas.
How-
Don't talk
what-
to the
I also
bigger
don't
guy.
have a Toyota You know, I'm a Nissan guy. You Toyota purists can just go play with your DeWalt's. I don't care.
They all do the same job.
Rowdy's worried about me. I don't mean to come across as
worry,
trying to speed you up. Just wanted to let you guys know that I think you would be the crew. We are. It'll be some epic video content.
What do you think? What do you mean think? Should know this. It's all right. Brett got.
Where
really
you at,
ragged on
Rowdy? You
before
just need to
we
come
went
down and hunt with us. Bring a mule. Anyway, the electric chainsaws. What kind of bar? How long is the bar?
I have it's a
18
16
inches.
on mine.
Oh.
I sure would like to have a small one that I could carry on a pack mule.
Mine is
so mine-
16, and I wanted to get the 24-inch, but then thinking about it, I wanted it for like quick and easy, you know, just like grab it. And I mean, most of the things I need to cut are only like, you know, not very big.
Well,
so
they don't
for
make
that,
something
man,
smaller?
it's so easy. And I have a
They don't make like
20-inch
a 12?
gas-powered one.
Yeah,
with
I've
me
seen
too,
them.
usually.
The 12s?
Yes.
Do they make like a?
Yeah.
You need just a small one. I used to have a little gas one I bought, and the thing had like an 8-inch blade on it, 10-inch. It was really small. Great for cutting limbs, like if you're out in the, you know. So, just need a little small one.
I've got a real good handsaw that I carry on my saddle, and man, you can cut through a limb like that, you know, in no time. So I mean, it's pretty handy.
That the DeWalt, the 16-inch, it works great. Where I got it where it's set up. I it up where it goes in a backpack. So
where in the world is that? Northwest
Nevada.
Oh,
Nevada. Well, I say Nevada.
I'm slow.
I get crap for saying Nevada. Everybody's like, "You mean Nevada?"
I'm slow too.
Come on, I don't know. I say Nevada. So maybe he's making fun of me. It could be me he's making fun of.
We will.
On any time.
We will. I plan on doing. A matter of fact, I'm going up to see John tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm gonna go see him, and I'm gonna take a mule, and I'm gonna take a few dogs, and
cool.
Make a circle. I just got to be back by Thursday, probably noon for sure. If I'm not back Thursday noon, I might be moving in with Chris over there.
Mama's gonna be in trouble. Mama's gonna be mad.
Yeah, she's worried about me going anyway. She just says I shouldn't, but.
Well, you've been feeling better anyways, just psychologically and everything.
The worst is when I sit still. When I sit down or I lay down at night, that's when my it just like flutters. Still has a 12-inch, yeah.
Near Reno. My cousin lives in Walker, California. And he's only 45 minutes from Reno. He keeps trying to get me to go there. He keeps trying to get me to buy land in Nevada. But I just want to live in Nevada. But he sends me property all the time that's cheap right there in South Nevada. Pines and aspens, real big properties, 40 acres, 100. He sends me properties all the time trying to get me moved there, but I just can't. The whole California crap. I can't carry my AK-47. I have to have my AK-47.
If I didn't have so much ties to New Mexico, family and everything, yeah, I would move to Nevada. I would move up there by Wells, where my brother-in-law is. That's where Cleve and Becky Dwyer live up there. And I mean, in the summertime, you can hunt a lot of that country up there. And if you didn't want to mess with the snow, you could go down south. And they have lots and lots of public land, as much public land as anywhere around. And they have a good lion population. They don't have no wolves. They don't hardly have any bears, from what I understand. Yeah. And but there's you know, and you can hunt all year, pretty good seasons, you know. And I went up there and hunted one time. I spent a couple weeks up there, and took a pack mule, saddle mule, stayed lost about the whole time, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Nevada.
I don't know, man. I have public land from where I live, west, globe. I got east, all the way to New Mexico, all the way down the I-10. Like I can get on my mule and ride for days and never touch private land if I didn't want to.
That's the way I
And
am.
that's why I like Arizona and the gun laws. Honestly, that's it. Gun laws in Arizona. We don't have a bad hunting season. I can hunt coyotes all year.
Your dogs are pretty good trailing coyotes up too, huh?
Oh yeah, they will. In the off season, usually.
Yeah, that's what you just
I've
switch
already got
species.
game wardens following me around.
Switch
so.
species. We have year-round lion season here, so
Yeah, we get shut down for a couple months, which ain't bad. Lions and bobcats, we can still pursue raccoon during that time, and you can hunt coyotes if you're running dogs and coyotes.
I'm not monetizing this, so we're all right.
Oh,
I couldn't believe when I think it was Missy that said that when that they'd have commercials right in the middle of our live. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, I noticed that on other live streams I've watched.
Seen it. Me too.
And it's dumb because it doesn't it's like slicing a chunk out of the live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not. I really miss that $2.20 I get, but
no more soda pop for you. No more Circle K thirst busters.
Drink my coffee. What else, guys? What do we got? How about every time I get off, I think, man, I'd like to ask George this or Nicholas this or Chris this, and I always I got that out of the way with Nicholas. Chris, tell me about your dogs. I've heard about Yucky and Dirty and everything, but where did your dogs come from?
So there was a guy in Globe, Andy Salazar, and his brother was Tim Salazar, and he gave my cousin a dog, and it had a bad eye. I think that's why I gave it to him. Well, I fixed the eye, and then another guy I had. So this was out of their new line. Well,
who?
Or Andy Salazar. Him and his brother, I think, used to run Caller for Game and Fish or something. Mm-hmm. Tim Salazar was like the Ben Lilly of the new days. That guy walked everywhere, and he actually got killed down here by Christopher Creek somewhere. I mean, from what I hear, it was just bad deal. Something, I don't know, maybe
when you get killed, it's a pretty bad deal. But
what happened? It was maybe he's talking to the wrong girl. What I hear, I don't know the full true story.
Somebody killed him.
Yeah, somebody killed him. I guess
that's a bad deal.
So his brother, I think, ended up with all his dogs, and he used to call her for Game and Fish or something. But so I got he gave my cousin a dog. I ended up with the dog, and then out of his other line, another guy I knew gave me a 10-month-old dog. And that's kind of where I just started my line, because I had got out of hounds when I had a divorce back in the 90s. So it's like 98, 99. And then I got hounds again in 2005. So I had a little break there where I had money and living good life. Didn't have a bunch of puppies and dog.
But you said when you got your divorce, you've had a lot of women in your life, though.
Yeah, I don't drink or do drugs. I should have. I should have. So
probably saved you a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, I got the perfect one now.
That's always nice to say when you're live. It's being recorded.
Exactly. I gotta walk back in the house. But I just and the guy had Bam Bam. He had walkers, the Bam Bam walkers. Really dry ground, and that's all he did. He was my mentor, old school. I'm talking, there was no GPS or shot collars.
Yeah.
There was backhand and feet.
Isn't that what Warner Glenn kind of went to? Was the tree and walkers?
Yeah.
I
Well,
know.
he has a lot of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just started my line off of there and then kind of ran a, I don't, every once in a while I'll bring it back in a little bit and then I'll find another one to breed. But I did get what's crazy is all these guys talk about the bloodlines and stuff. And I always argue that two good dogs don't make a good dog. Does it help? Yeah, obviously, but I got a dog from a guy and he does a lot of line and he says this dog might be better on bear. It doesn't want to go after the line. It's just not interested enough for me. So I ran on bear and it did the same thing. Well, I had an accidental breeding with Dirty with her. Like Dirty actually, she got out of the pen, went to my Dirty dog and bred. I'm like, damn man, I breed her every time now because every puppy I have out of her is a maniac. I just had one, Cecilia and Lucy, on that bear yesterday. Treeing fools, treeing fools. Love to hunt. Ben and Bella, same breeding, different, same siblings, just another litter. Maniacs.
So, when you say a maniac,
Put their nose down
I mean,
and hit the tree.
they're always hunting. They're hard tree dogs.
They,
How
yes.
cold? How cold do you think they are? Cold,
Well,
like a guy said, cold enough.
I've had them. I haven't ran them on. I've ran them on more lions than bears. She's the one in the video where I got into the choyas and her ears are pinned. Her, Lucy and Yucky had that lion treed under the Palo Verdes and in that choya for 3 hours before I got there. So I mean, good enough for me.
Yeah.
I'm no Mike Bency or I don't do it for a living. The only people I really take to guide are my private investigator clients, honestly, like people I know. So, but
Now, George,
they could be better.
Tell us about your dogs, George. Oh, they can all be better.
Oh yeah.
Mine are just basically all mutts.
That's all mine are.
Nah, they're basically, if you called them breeded all, it'd be English dogs.
But how'd you acquire them, and who they come from, and
So they, let's see. Long story short, I hunt dogs for people at times.
Yeah.
So, um, I don't know. Years ago, I had a couple, and they accidental bred. Throwed a good litter of pups. I kept the whole litter, and then I had a few more dogs, bred them back and forth, and pretty much produced my own line of dogs.
Really?
So, and then that comes into where when I say I hunt dogs for people. An older fella sent me a dog to hunt. I don't know. This was probably 10 years ago, and it was I think 6 or 8 month old puppy. It was young. It wasn't doing anything. Actually, he sent it to me for let's see, it would have been 6 or 8 months, and he sent it for 2 months. I hunted it. It didn't, it wasn't doing anything. So we nicknamed it, I think, Bear Killer or something, just as a joke. Anyway, I called the guy back, and I told him, there's no use him, there's no use him wasting time, money, no use paying me doing anything like that to hunt this pup. Give it, I told him to take it back for a couple months, give it a little bit of time, send it back to me if he wanted to. So he ended up, long story short, he told me that he wasn't interested in the pup. He's like, I don't want it back if it ain't doing nothing. I explained to him, I was like, hey, it's young, there's, it's early in the game.
Hold on just a minute. I've heard that story before in the horse industry. This is what you do. You take in a horse to ride. Say, the guy asked you, he said, you're a good roper. He said, you ride this horse for me for a month or so? Yeah, sure. I'll ride him. You ride him, call the guy up, say, this sucker ain't no good. You know, you're wasting your time with him. He's just not going to make it. I hate to take your money, and I'm not doing it any good. The guy says, okay. He says, all right. He said, well, what do you think I should do? I'll just take him off your hands. I'll take him. You know, don't worry about it. You know, I'll you know, killer price is, you know, 35 cents a pound. I'll give you a killer price for him. But he's a good horse. So go ahead. Finish your story, George.
That was an insinuation.
I'd say so.
My story is exactly like that, except I did a little bit different.
You were honest about it.
Well, so pretty much, you know, he's like, just take the pup. If you know some kid that wants it, whatever. You know, he's like, I don't want it back. So I hang on to it. You know, I give it another, I can't remember if it was a couple weeks or a month. And I think the original time I was walking down a ridge, and you know, of course, all my dogs usually are typically loose. So a few of them started opening on a track, taking it around, going south. I hear this dog that I didn't even recognize, you know, going north. And I really ain't paying much attention to it, honestly. I didn't recognize the bark. I was watching on GPS, listening. I knew what my good dogs were doing. My buddy hollers at me like 10 minutes later. He's like, hey, there's this little English dog just brought a bear up across the road. And I was like, "Really?" And then finally I look on my GPS. I'm like, well, that's this, you know, 8-month-old
Bear
pup.
killer. A bear
Yeah,
killer.
old bear killer. So that, you know, we got that bear treat or whatever. And then I think it was the next day or the day after that I went hunting. I think I got a bear treat somewhere, went in there. My pup was missing, or that little pup was missing. I went and found her later that evening, and she was sitting under a tree just chopping by herself. And then, so, you know, after another month of progression, you know, here I am with all my older dogs, and I'm watching this little, by then it was like a 9-10 month old pup, and she's smoking all my older dogs. She's,
Wow.
you know, she's trading in front of them.
Ain't that
She's
fun?
getting, yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So as bad as it was to hurt, I called that older fella back. You know, I was like, I'm just going to be honest with you. I was like, this young dog, I was like, I still consider it yours. I was like, it's, you know, it's starting to tree bear. You know, it's got a lot of potential. And the old fellow was tickled pink, and he said, well, I've already gave you the dog. He's like, I'd be honored if you just keep. And he actually, the crazy part of the story is so he went ahead and paid me up for them couple months that I continued hunting it.
What a nice
that's
guy.
cool.
Yeah. Dog house, he sent me. I mean, he was tickled pink that I went ahead and kept him. And to this
like, on
day,
one
that's
condition. You got to make that dog YouTube famous.
Yeah. Use this guy's name too.
Wait, was this George Sr.?
That's my dad.
Well, you know, honestly, that's another neat part about the story is I didn't, you know, the older fella, I didn't really know him. You know, I knew his name, I'd talked to him, I'd met him, but far as like a really good friend or anything like that, there was no connection there. Just a connection where I hunted these dogs for him. So it was a neat way that story played out. And then, like I say, so I took her, which she was no kin. Jenny is her name. She's still alive now, but I took her and bred her into my existing line of dogs and created, like I say, they're almost full English. They don't look like it because way back they have a little bit of plot and a little bit of red bone in them, and that plot and red bone color still comes out in every litter of pups. Yeah.
The only English breed, I mean, I know about the hard time line is what
these. That's exactly what these go back to, is the hard time.
I had a big red tick dog that I called Super Hoover that was out of a registered hard time male, and out of that laser female that they had up north that came from the Lee brothers, I think, and I had him, and I thought I got took on him. I paid. This is back, I guess close to 20 years ago. I guess I paid $400 for him as a 5 month
Right.
old pup, and he never did nothing. He just followed me around. He trashed on a javelina one time. Never did nothing. Then one
I
day
think
he discovered lion scent. We were trailing a lion, and he was just kind of wallering around, not really doing anything. And all of a sudden, I just, similar to you, I heard him, whoa. I thought, who in the world
who
was
the
that?
hell?
And it was Super Hoover. He was over there, just over the ridge, and
Mm.
it was almost like it shocked him, like, wow.
How
I
old was he?
barked. He was over 2 years old.
Isn't it Warner Glenn who said he'll keep a dog to 3 or 4 years old
I
because
think you
sometimes
should
they
in dry
just,
ground.
I and there's the whole kind of joke about if someone gives you a dog, it's probably a crappy dog, but I'll take those dogs because I firmly believe it's the owner sometimes that will not. It don't. I don't like some people. You know what I mean? He'll hunt with maybe that guy, but he may hunt better for you. I don't know. I've seen it 100 times where I sold a dog to a guy and he brought it back. Said this dog don't do crap. I went and caught a bobcat the next week. I was like,
Well,
he does enough crap for me. Like but and this guy though, this guy honestly, he's not a houndsman. He runs hounds. He's not a houndsman. He's
yeah.
never made a dog. And I still I'll argue with people that if you want to be a houndsman, if you're just going to go buy dogs and run dogs, you're not a houndsman. You're just a guy who runs hounds. If you raise a dog from puppy and start it and watch it, learn it and school it and learn from it, that's when you become a houndsman. That's when you can read your dogs.
Oh
My
yeah.
opinion.
That I don't. I've tried to sell one older dog that I had that was doing pretty good, I thought, and I don't know. Guy took it and it didn't. He said it didn't do nothing, and I brought it back. And man, I caught that big tom lion on the bluff down there, and the first day he helped as much as any of the dogs. I mean, we trailed all day the first day, and then the second day he was real sore footed. He couldn't hardly walk, so I left him in the dog box, and he got out. He didn't make it to the tree, but he got out, and I thought, man, there ain't nothing wrong with this dog. And I sent him down to Cody King. I said, Cody, I said, maybe I misread this dog. Maybe he's just, following these other dogs because he is raised with them. And I sent him down there with Cody. Cody called me back the next day. He said, there's nothing at all wrong with this dog. He said he's keeping up. He said not quite as fast, but he's not too far behind my running walkers on these bobcats. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
And
what happened. I don't know what the guy did, but the guy called me like a year later, and my red hair flared a little bit, and I let him know I wasn't happy.
another thing about lines, a guy posted something on the internet about lines. Says once you cross, that's your line. Once you start crossing, that's your line. So it's not really the Cameron line no more. That's your line with Cameron blood. And
Yeah,
I agreed with that. It's like I've been since 2005. I've been breeding my dogs. I still have the Salazar line. I bred it with some stuff from New Mexico. I have no clue where my main dog Luke came from, but same thing as my cousins. I ended up with it, but he was a great dog. Great dog. I don't even know where he came from. So, it's your line. Once you start crossing,
yeah,
that's George's line.
yeah.
That's Nicholas's line.
And
And then some people go back and they argue it. They're no, that's Cameron. No, that's not Cameron line. That's Cameron blood in your line.
How tight
You
do you
know,
believe in breeding? Any of you guys?
I try not to breed like. I'm not saying I haven't. I try not to breed like son
Sorry.
or but I'll go a couple skips, or I'll even breed, like, let's say Dirty and Vodka aren't related. I don't even really try to breed back to like that. I go out a little bit and then I bring it back in. I don't really like inbreeding too much. I
Would,
know they say you can do it. I'm just scared of it.
so
I
when
think,
you have gone out or bred out, are you particular about what you breed to and what traits you want to bring into your dogs?
yeah, I pay attention, and I don't cut or neuter nothing. You know what I mean, or spay nothing until I just never do. But I tell you what, how many of I know everybody in this panel and anybody on the chat can say their accidental breedings brought out some badass dogs. I hear it all the time. It was an accidental breed. I would have never bred that. I never bred my Andy dog because I hated his guts. He hunted. I just didn't want the mindset. He was just,
Hmm.
it's like a big dumb guy that can lift 200-pound bells and throw them all day long. You want the muscle. You just don't want the 71 IQ. You know what I mean? So, and I didn't want his 71 IQ. I really didn't. I love the dog. Very love hate. I have him tattooed on my body. Everybody's like, you hated that dog. I'm like, he worked for me. The dog worked for me though. The guy had heart. You know what I mean?
When
It's a
you
guy you
say,
could
well,
punch.
hold on, we got to qualify this for. We just can't let that slide on by. You have him tattooed
Yeah,
on your body.
I do. I
Tramp
do.
stamp.
Where?
It's tramp stamp. Oh,
That's a hound dog.
that looks pretty good.
Okay, that's enough. I've seen enough of that. I see your belly button. I don't like that.
Do a little shimmy for us.
Well, I had to take my piercing out of my belly button
Piercing. My goodness.
Can't take him anywhere.
first. It's a,
It's the last
a
time
little
I asked
Garmin.
a question like that.
It's a little Garmin. Well, so his mother, I'm gonna get tattooed in the middle, and then when Dirty, I'll get tattooed Dirty.
I'm gonna get a full booger tattoo right there
I would. I bet you Tammy would
with
pay
his
for
leg,
it, too.
with his leg hiked like that.
Pissing on another dog, like a black and tan or a walker, just a plot.
Oh no, Chris!
Really piss everybody off.
My gosh, how old are you, Chris?
48.
Oh, okay, just checking.
Yeah.
All the dog breeding, I've messed with dog breeding a lot and bred lots of litters. And I've basically come to the concept that I'm never going to figure it out.
No kidding. Yeah.
When you think you
Yeah.
have it figured out, it just blows it out of the water. You're like, wait, what is that? Why did that? What? So
I had it.
I
I had
think
it pre. I had like litters. Like I'm gonna have this female, and if she does good, then I'll breed her to this male. And then 2 years down the road, I'll breed. Just pre-planning. They always throw some kind of like wrench in the deal, like some kind of. You breed a good, like you said, you breed a good traded to a good traded, and then some weird trait comes out of the mix or something.
But isn't that kind of why you like to stay pretty tight with your breeding?
It is, but then I've noticed. So with my personal line, there was a trait that, and they've got a couple weird traits, but one trait that I dislike is like they're getting harder to catch. Like I can handle them fine, but a stranger and like I can't. You can breed stuff in your dogs, but you can't. For me, this is just me personally talking, but I can't get it out of them. I can't breed stuff out of them.
So are you talking about
that makes sense.
Well, if you're
Yeah.
when you say they're hard to catch, you talking about if you say, "Hey, Shorty, come here," they come to you. If someone says, "Hey, Shorty, come to there," they don't listen.
Yeah, so what it basically has progressed and it's getting worse and worse is at first it was like somebody else can't holler them out of the woods, which that's understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Then
That's
it
a good
gets
thing.
where if they come to a main road and then I ask a buddy to catch them, he can't catch them. Now it's done got bad enough where, and I say bad enough, I'm making it sound extreme. It ain't near this bad yet, but a couple of my male dogs, they, if you walk up, say I'm at a gas station, and you walk up and you're going to pet them, they're going to growl at you, if I'm not around.
Yeah.
So you're getting grittier.
Depends on how you look at it.
Well, yeah, I don't know if I'd call that grit.
Yeah.
Well,
but
I don't know.
they're just getting more standoffish, more like they just don't like strangers. Yeah. And that's just one trait I'm talking about. Like I say, there's just, and I don't know where that come from, because there wasn't, it's, evidently it was in their background somewhere. I don't know, but.
And you think you think it is genetic? You don't think it's just like not saying anything
training
bad about how you like run your operation, but you don't think it's just like they're in like a full on pack and got some weird like kind of
it's
like ancient wolf stuff coming out?
Leadership, like
yeah,
alpha leader, like you're their alpha male, I guess. You don't think it's just maybe I understand what he's saying. It's not the way you're.
I do understand that, but it's definitely, or I feel like it's definitely something genetic that's bleeding through, getting worse and worse. Because, like I say, that I haven't changed anything in hunting style or training style, and they get piles of interaction, and it's not like they're not socialized.
Gotcha.
Are you pretty? I mean, like me and my dogs, we're all buddies. I mean, I won't put up with a dog that doesn't like me. And
right.
I mean, so are you real personable with your dogs and good boys and pet them, or?
Yeah, so all every single hound I got is got like a very big personality, especially with me. Like I say, each well, they spend so much time with me. I mean, they're
yeah.
You
I
do
reckon
a lot of alone hunting too.
That's
right.
Yeah,
Just you and the dog.
Yeah, that's very true. But they're definitely socialized enough where they should be. Like I've got a brother. Like I say, it's just progressing. It's just something. It's not. I'm making it sound worse than what it is, but it is. Each litter, it is progressively getting worse. So
something you're noticing. Yeah.
It's something I'm definitely taking notice of, and absolutely do not know how to, without bringing new stuff in.
I agree.
Just bring you a poodle in.
I'm gonna be prejudiced and agree with Louisiana hunting. It's the red bone plot thing.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what? I've always seen aggression in a red bone, no matter if it's a little tiny bit. I've never owned a plot. I honestly can't talk crap about plots, but if you listen, everybody says plots got that aggressive in them. But I do know red bones do. I know that. Every one I've owned, even Yucky, is getting. He got it. The hound trials ruined him, because I had 3 dogs jump on him at the hound trials, and now he's starting to jump on dogs at the tree. So I'm trying to fix that. And I even told my wife, I said, "Hey, when you get new guys in the hounds, they don't want to coal nothing, whether it's coal behind the shed or coal to your buddy or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean?" So I told her, I said, I might not be able to keep him, because I can't have 10 dogs at a tree when I'm not there for 2 hours and have him jump on a dog. So I've been there and I've corrected it, and I'm hoping, but he never did that before. And I know it's from other dogs, because my Sydney dog did it yesterday when one of another person's dogs jumped on her, and it pissed her off. So she would stand on that tree and look back at that dog and growl at it. And she is not 100% aggressive any way whatsoever. And it's just that one dog. And those people, I had to tell them, they're new. I said, listen, you can't keep every dog. I don't care what you do with them. rehome them to an old lake. I don't care, but you can't keep every dog. If it's just a dog food eater, if that dog don't work for you, there's no reason keeping them unless you're going to just keep it as a pet and take it for a walk in the woods.
We won't. If I even have a dog growl in the dog box, or if I'm out at the kennels, if he growls while I'm at the kennel, running around loose or anything, then this pack leader comes unglued, and they suffer the consequences because
You have to fix it quick.
they don't. It's not tolerated with me. I mean, I'm the leader of this deal, and they all know that. It might sometimes it's taken some of them a while, but at this point now I don't have any dogs that I didn't raise from a little puppy. I mean, all of them are I raised from a pup, and
Right.
so they know, I've tried. I brought in dogs from, I don't want to name any names, but from pretty well known guys that. And I don't talk a lot about my dogs or anything like that, but they don't trail with my dogs. They just won't. And I got lucky. It's not anything that I did. I had old guy tell me, you need to buy these dogs, and I bought them all. And I think sometimes, like Warner Glenn says, sometimes they might be a little too cold. That they, like Warner Glenn said, he said, well, we did a lot of trailing, but we didn't do a whole lot of catching. And I don't think that's because every now and then I'll get to the point where I think, well, these dogs are, I'll go for a long time without catching a lion. And I'll think, well, they're just not moving a track like they should to go get something caught. And then I catch a lion and I see what they can do. The best thing I had was that, lion that I caught in the cave, and then I watched him come out of the cave, and I came back the next day and I trailed that lion up and caught him. And when they got to where he spent that day and I got on that overnight track, I mean, these dogs are moving it, wah, 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 wah. And then I've had 3 separate occasions when I've trailed a lion through a game camera, and I got to be able to see how far behind that lion we were. And I don't even like to tell people because they accuse me of lying, so I'm not going to say. But I think in this rock in some of this country, you'd be surprised how old of a track you can actually trail with a good dog. With a good cold nosed hound, lion bred hound that wants to trail,
Right.
You'd be shocked. And I think I think the better lion hunters have done it enough where they can read their dogs, and they move those dogs. They know there's a lion there. They know they're poking on that track, and they can read them good enough, and they know good enough to move them. I think I've moved them before and screwed them up. I think we were closer to the lion than I thought. And then other times, I should have moved them. We were too far behind just because I didn't know. But there's my story.
Handler.
Sticking to
Handler.
Bad
handlers,
handler.
and it's not necessarily just bad handling. We're humans. We're not dogs, That poor girl hunted me this weekend. She says, what were they doing? I said, I don't know. I'm not the dog. If I knew what they were doing, I'd be out there doing it. I wouldn't need dogs.
It's like that old man told me. He said, I can't smell it and I can't see it, so I don't know.
What were they chasing? I have no clue. I'll tell you they're chasing bear. I don't know if it's what I hope they were. I hope they're chasing a lion or trailing a lion. But man, when you get a hot run and they lose it, I don't know. But I tell you what the GPS has taught me. Watching that GPS is how a bear will run, how a lion will walk, and how a coyote will run or a deer and elk. I know when they're on a bear by watching those dogs run circles or go to the top of a hill. I know it's a coyote if it's as straight as an arrow
and
at
fast.
300 miles an hour. If the The only other technology that would train your dogs the best is if that collar had a camera that showed you it was a damn coyote or a rabbit or a javelina, so you can love button them off of it. And that's it.
How about cold trail and a coyote?
Dirty. I think Dirty.
Oh, see, I seen
I've
that
seen
look in your
him.
face.
I've seen him rig a coyote when he was younger, and I know because I seen the coyote run across the road, and I hit it, and he rigged it. And I
I
think that
had
was the last time. Well, and Elizabeth, I hunted with her. She said, "Chris, coyote just ran across the road. He's headed back." She goes, "See if Dirty will rig that." And none of my dogs rigged it. And I'm like, oh, whew. When you hunt with someone like Elizabeth, you're like,
she's pretty
please
sharp.
don't rig.
Yeah.
Like you want to start toning them right now so they don't rig. But I was curious, and yucky. But if you're a good houndsman, you're not going to care that they're rigging that deer or whatever because they're rigging. So now you have to fine tune it, just like a
Yeah.
CB radio. You got to turn that squelch to where you can hear them and not hear the squelch. So I know
That
they rig.
that was
That
open.
makes me happy.
My eyes were opened up when a guy told me about, you, especially out here in this desert, you go so long without catching a lion. Those dogs are wanting to trail, and there's 10 jillion coyotes. You might have them broke off of, or you might not have those hot, fast, hard running coyote races, but they might stick their nose down and start cold
Mm-hmm.
trailing a coyote. And I didn't believe it. And then I caught them doing it. And I thought,
Yeah.
well, man, something else I got to work on. And I think I got them fixed for the most part, but
Yeah.
it was something I didn't know about. And then I trailed. I made a video about it. I trailed. I had caught a lion on top of a big old ridge. And so it was like, 6 months later, I went back up there, that same ridge, hit a track. Boom, dogs trailing. Whoa, whoa, whoa. They're tight. They're, as they say, you could throw a blanket over them. They're real tight, trailing, just moving it like that.
Mm-hmm.
Get off down, trail straight down the bottom of the ridge. I thought, man, this lion's hunting, and we're just trailing him up.
Mm-hmm.
Went
one line on that GPS is all you see, and all the dogs are in one. You can't even see which dogs are there.
Yeah. And then we went, I don't know, we probably went maybe 3-4 miles, quite a ways. They jumped a fox and treated. Now, you sit there and you think, was that just a volunteer? I call it when they tree something that's a volunteer. It just happened to be where they were going anyway. It's a volunteer. Yeah. Was it a volunteer? Or was it a fox that was just trotting out in front of those dogs that whole way, and I never seen him? Because they're not going to be able to trail a fox that far if he, trail him to where he is and jump him.
Yeah.
3 miles, that's ridiculous.
Here's something that would get you, and I don't know if this happened to you. It's happened to me a couple of times is when I'm running something, and those coyotes, if those dogs are opening up, you'll hear those coyotes start yipping at those dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always right by the dogs. Like just the other day.
Start teasing them.
I trailed, and I hear those coyotes. I'm like, oh. And I don't think you asked me that, but I have a video. One of my videos, I seen a coyote running out. So I took my dogs down that way to see if they'd even, and I did. I crossed right where that coyote did, and nobody tried to trail or open up. But it doesn't mean that they won't a year later. They just so bored. When they get so bored, I've been out hunting and said, my dogs are stupid. I hate them. They're not doing nothing. Why? And I've took Elizabeth with me, and she didn't get nothing. I'm all, man, maybe it's just nothing here. That's when you're annoyed is when there's nothing there, and you don't know if your dogs are just not doing the job or, and then when they do open up and they're running out there and you hear them coyotes barking, you're like, are they chasing coyotes or not? But they kept going. The coyotes stayed there yipping, and they kept going. So I'm like, all right. You got your hand on the button. Like,
so you guys that rig, if your dogs rig on trash, do you tone them or shock them on the rig, or you get them off the rig and then shock them?
This just happened to me last weekend. Yucky rigged
Now,
on deer.
I'm talking about a dog that you're just training to rig. I mean, he's just getting started.
That's yucky.
You know,
That's
your old
yucky.
dog that's rigged 500 bears and then he rigs on a deer. I can see.
Yucky's just now
Shocking him.
rigging with dirty, but with dirty. So Yucky rigged this time by himself a couple weeks ago, and it was deer. So I did tone him because I can tone him, and he'd like acts like he shock him. The second time I buzzed him at like 3. The
Yeah.
third time I ran across deer, he didn't rig, but he
But
still rigged.
you're
with
doing
dirty.
it on the rig. Do you
I did.
with a young dog? Do you risk that you might be breaking him from barking on the rig?
Not with Yucky. I could shock him at a tree fighting, and he'll go back to tree. So he knows what he's supposed to be doing, and he'll still rig with dirty.
Look at this guy. Benny Griffith is on our live. That's amazing. I didn't even know he knew how to turn on a computer.
Maybe he's watching. He can't be watching on TV. I seen the deer, and I knew he rigged on those deer, and he knows better.
So, but he knows better. That's not the point. I'm talking about a young dog.
I wouldn't shock a under year old dog or he's a little. He's
Yeah.
2.
George?
He's 2 years old, 2.5.
That's kind of it's kind of situational on the actual pup. I think you got to know the pup itself.
Yeah.
You know, kind of where it's at, and then, but I usually don't. I was trying to think back. I had a young pup that was hitting a little bit of everything, and when she finally, like I say, I'd had her on the rig. She was confident riding up. She was fine. She'd been on a few bear. And finally she started rigging stuff on her own, and I just let her rig, but I didn't turn her loose.
Is that someone? Sorry, George. I'm sorry.
No, that's my daughter.
Is that your
talking
daughter?
Trash. Yeah, so you guys can talk
I was
trash,
gonna say.
whatever you want to her. She's
George.
my oldest daughter. She thinks she's invincible and daddy's little girl.
We only let them talk when they raise their hand.
Except Nicholas. We don't let him talk because he has a dog box now.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead, George.
So
I'm sorry.
What I like to do is let them rig whatever they want, you know. But then finally, you know, sometimes maybe I'll holler out the window or something, or just
shut up,
just
yeah.
but nothing major. Just let them rig. But then, soon as we get a good rig, as far as on a bear, then I immediately either cut them loose first or in front of the line.
So they know.
And
Yep.
after a couple days of that, and like I say, I'm probably a little different than a lot of people because I get to hunt a lot. So, but after you do that 2, 3, 4 days in a row, they start breaking themselves.
Yeah.
And then after they get a little bit of bear treeing and bear running under their belt, then maybe I'll start adding some correction in. But typically, a lot of times you don't even have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what kind of advantage is it to set a young dog up there with 6 broke dogs that are going to rig? I mean, pretty soon he just learns from what they're doing.
Mhm.
And
if they're not rigging on deer, you know.
Yeah, and then another thing that I got around here that is pretty nice is we've got a lot of deer. We've got a big deer population. So I treat deer just kind of how I would as, say, driving through a cattle field or something. And the dogs kind of get, I think they kind of get acclimated or whatever. You know, they don't rig cows, so usually they'll, you know, we got such a good deer population that I can ride around in the evenings, you know, and probably see 30, 40 deer. And they eventually realize that it does not do a bit of good to bark at a deer. Yeah.
yeah,
'Cause
well,
I'm not-
I need to send my dogs over there to you because I think my dogs will rig a rattlesnake.
Right. So probably all of our training is probably going to be a little bit different just due to the country and I think a lot of my training might be a little bit easier for me because I get to hunt a lot. So a lot of
Oh,
my
sure.
training they learn from their dogs
Sure.
and just being in the woods.
Man, I can't wait. I got to get my heart fixed.
So I feel sorry for I really truly feel sorry for like the weekend hunter that's trying to train puppies or whatever. That yeah, it's got to be
Benny.
hard.
It is hard, and they don't. They get lucky. My dad didn't
Oh
hunt a
yeah.
lot this year, and he caught a bear. You know, but I've always said, turn the trash dog loose. I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna go to the dog pound. I'm gonna get me 5 dogs, and I'm gonna get on my mule, and I'm gonna cross country until I start catching bears. I don't care what kind of dogs they are. Any dog will hunt. Any dog will hunt. Will they hunt real good? I don't know. But if you're catching 5 bears a day with a dog, the dog's gonna and you're petting him. You're saying good boy. He's gonna want to catch bears. Dogs
He's
are
gonna
there.
put
They
two
want
and
to
two.
please you. Exactly
Yeah.
right. Exactly right. Will he have a good nose? I don't know.
I think that's
You
where
know.
that's kind of where you can separate a lion hound from a lot of things. They've got a dry ground lion hound has to have that desire to work a track, a hard track. They just got to have that desire. And well, up there at that sale they had up here, the broke lion hound, dry ground lion hound brought $20,000. So I mean, that just goes to
Guaranteed
show,
broke. Guaranteed
guaranteed
broke.
broke. So
Well, and
yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say so. I've got I've got some young dogs and I've got some regular dogs that they will tree bear and they'll tree them. I mean they'll do it. I won't say daily, but they're going to tree some bear. But I still don't consider them bear dogs.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and the reason I say that is I've probably got 1 or 2 dogs that they're probably more in the league of a bear dog, and the reason why I put them in there is I can do you can just go put them in the woods. I can send them with Easton. I could send them with some, and they don't have to have no help.
Yeah.
They're going to trail up there and they're going to get a treat somewhere. It don't matter who they're hunting with, how they're hunting. It don't matter if there's dogs running deer or anything.
Mm-hmm.
They just
That
have it. They're going to go tree a bear somewhere.
that's good. You just ride through the country. If there's a bear in there and you cut their track, you're going to be able to trail it up and get it caught.
We hope.
Well, I
That's
mean, there's things
exactly
that can
yes.
happen, but if it's a catchable bear and everything's, yeah, no, I
They
understand
know
that.
they're supposed to be treeing bear. They know they're supposed to be
Yeah.
treeing bear. They don't necessarily
Yeah.
know they shouldn't be chasing deer, but they know they're supposed to be treeing bear.
See,
Well, I was going to say, kind of what I said before we went live. I was thinking our youth season here in Virginia, we had a basically one day. It was a 2-day, but for hounds, it was a 1-day youth bear season. Last weekend, I believe, and I had 3 youth with me, and I was kind of getting big headed because I'd caught a few bears. I was like, well, we'll go try to tree 2. If possible, we'll try to tree 2, and then maybe we'll go for a third one. We'll see. And yeah, needless to say, at like 6 o'clock that evening, I hadn't even been to a bear tree. We never got.
there you go.
Yeah, on the
Benny's
topic
starting to
of
separate the dogs.
Hmm.
Go ahead, Nicholas. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say your question about like correcting the dog from the box, like from standing up on the box. So my dog Cooley, she's really like the first hound I trained on my own, and I was so worried about her running trash that I was probably like a little too heavy-handed in terms of trash breaking. And I was looking for every opportunity to, like break her off of elk
Mhm.
and deer. Like elk is a big one because they're so you can bump into a huge herd of elk here, and they smell so good that,
I could trail.
Yeah. And so one day I had her up on the box, and I pull around the corner, and there's just a herd of elk standing in the middle of the road. She blew up, and she was actually chained up on the box. So I just hammered down on the e-collar, and I just, and then she would keep barking. So I was just kept hammering. I was following that herd going down the road to the point where I just totally wore her out. But the worst part about that was she stopped barking from the rig completely.
Yeah.
Or until just recently will she even make a little squeak. So that's why I got that camera set up on my truck now, so I can just watch her. Because I know when she's smelling something good, she'll start squirming around, her tail starts twitching. And so I'm like kind of watching for like a body language strike.
There you go.
And then really just like encouraging her to do that. And so we're working through all that. But I learned from that mistake. And so when it came time to train Rue up on the box, like I did not. I haven't even toned him while he's up there. Like I haven't done any correction from the box, kind of like what you're saying. I will stop, let him go, commit to chasing whatever he would want, and then I would put the hammer down. And that seemed to work pretty well. It took probably 2 or 3 times of doing that with deer. And now he's probably like my most broke dog now. Which is great because I got these younger dogs that he's helping me train them, which has been really good.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at earlier, asking that question is, if you start shocking them on the rig for just trash, eventually you're going to have a dog that's not going to rig even anything because they're not associating it with the game. They're associating it with barking on the box because that's, I mean, how everybody knows how irritating that can be.
Yeah.
Well, Yucky's been under enough bear. Yucky's been on a lot of bear, and he's been off a lot of rigs off dirty. He knows better. And I seen those deer. I seen them. And he'll still rig. He still rigs now with dirty.
So Chris, how do you come up with the names for your dogs? Whoops.
Dirty had a big dirty spot on him when he was born. And Yucky is Dirty's son. So we called him Yucky because he's Dirty's son. I don't know. I have weird names. I don't know. I got Halado and I have Morozny. Halado and Morozny mean frozen in other languages because their mom's, or Frosty, because their mom's name is Frosty.
See, all my dogs have 2 names.
I'm disappearing again.
Or sometimes 3. There was always like Jumpin' Jack Flash, Booger Bear, Mrs. P. It's all Big Al, Uno. What do I call Uno? I know I call him something. Timmy Boy. Uh-oh. What was that?
He ran out of batteries.
I don't know what it's doing. Maybe it is.
You're blacked out. Okay. We've been on here for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Guys,
good times.
Any closing thoughts? Man, don't everybody talk at once. Look at Chris. He's a little bitty guy now.
My channel, Hound on the Run.
I have to go back.
I just crossed 500 subscribers, which I'm very excited about. So help me get to 1,000.
Yeah, go over there. All of us here, for you guys that are watching, all of us here have YouTube channels.
That's right.
Hound on the Run. Chris has Antidote of Houndsman, and George has Mountain Music and Mules, and George catches lots of bears. Nicholas makes real high quality, neat videos. I like them. Chris makes videos like I do. We just make videos.
Just make videos.
I'm not saying much about them. Difference between me and Chris is I've been doing it for like 15 years, I think, since YouTube first started. But I even made videos prior to YouTube. Do what?
I'm trying to get you to teach me how. And you yell at me for not listening all the time.
Yeah. You guys should listen to me.
All the time. Yeah, I try.
Shouldn't need to listen to me. I've been down that road. But anyway, so good. Guys, I enjoyed it. I'll try to do it again. Tell all your friends.
Thanks, everybody.
And if you guys have any, what we need to do is we need to have some way, well, maybe they can, when you've watched the video, because I'll leave it up on the channel. If you have questions that you didn't think about asking here, ask a question in the comments and we'll address them and in the next live. How's that sound?
That'd be cool.
Maybe we'll do something on, you guys can, on your Facebooks or whatever you use, you can say, hey guys, I'm going to be live this Monday night. If you have any questions, post them here and I'll get around. We'll answer them. How's that sound?
Yeah, now sounds great.
Perfect.
Now that you said that, I've actually had people reach out saying like, "Hey, could you guys talk about this stuff?" And I always forget, so I got to do better about that.
I do too. I think I did better tonight asking you guys questions, and that's what I need to think about. Is because when I go to interview guys, I'm usually pretty decent at asking them questions and keeping it keeping it about them, And I think that's really important.
Didn't you just do some interviews?
Oh my gosh, do I have some stuff coming up that's just oh. But I want everybody to know that because of my interviews and what I do, I can't get these guys on a live show or on the computer. I have to travel to them. If the hound community thinks it's worthwhile, I need sponsors of some sort because now I am on a fixed income. I am retired and I have to be careful. So let me just say I've got an opportunity to go into Chris's part of the world and see some pretty famous lion hunters. And I get to spend, and it's all because of Benny Griffith. He set it all up for me. So I get to go over there for a week. And they said, bring your cameras, bring your stuff. So there you go. And I got a real famous guy down in Texas. I got several guys I can go see, but it takes travel, takes expenses. It's not cheap, as you guys, I'm sure you know. So if it's worthwhile, ideally Garmin would say, yeah, we'll sponsor you, or somebody like that would say, yeah, wow, yeah, we'd like to help you out. But they're big dogs. They don't even know I'm alive. So yeah. Anyway, so perfect.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Thanks everybody.
Onward and upward. Thank you guys.
Till next Monday.
Next Monday. We'll talk about it and see where it's at. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Peace.
Peace. Peace, brother. How do I turn this thing off?